Nay, Nasty Ronnie.
Alright. Earliest childhood memory.
Earliest childhood memory? About what? Just anything?
Yeah.
Earliest childhood memory? Earliest childhood memory? Oh no, just always being, coming up with original ideas and being able to amuse myself and never really being a follower, even as a kid. Always wanting to do my own thing, create games and fun, and even playing war and things like that.
Awesome. How did you get turned on to underground music?
Underground music, it's really weird because even when I got up to high school, I never really was into total metal or anything like that. It was always just, I guess, the commercial music of the world, and through my different years, just people like Elvis or the Doors, and just always kind of stuff that really impacted me, Led Zeppelin.
Alright.
But then in high school, I remember I bought the first album I actually bought was before high school. It was Styx Grand Illusion.
Alright.
And once I got that, I started collecting records and started finding out more about the punk scene, and got into that's when I got into the punk scene, and then started getting into the older metal like Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and things like that, and then I got turned on to the British new wave heavy metal, which was like right around the time Nasty Savage was happening in the early 80s.
Awesome. Where does the name Nasty Savage come from?
Oh, it was just something I came up with. I always liked the name Savage, and I tried to find a word to go with Savage, and Nasty hit my mind. I said Nasty Savage. So that sounds pretty cool because now I could be Nasty Ronnie, and it was like a concept. So actually, what happened is I tried out for the band, and I only knew a couple of songs, a couple of Iron Maiden songs, and it was Ben and Fred and Craig Huffman, and they had a band called Nightmare. So I tried out as a singer because they had a female singer, and I went over there and sang the 3 songs or so, and I didn't hear anything back from them for quite some time, a couple of weeks. And then I ran into him at a party, and I said, "Man, what's the deal? Do you guys want me to be your singer or not?" And they said, "Yeah, we do." And I said, "Okay, I'm coming over so-and-so day, we'll have a meeting." And that's where I came and said, "Look, I got this concept of Nasty Savage, Nasty Ronnie. Let's put our minds together, create something. Let's make it real. Within 1 year, let's be signed." The rest really did happen.
That's awesome. At least you guys had goals when you started out.
Yeah, I think it's real important, to have a band is one thing, but then again, you get 5 guys or 6 guys or 4 guys, and do they all have, is it in their minds that they really want to create something, that they have a goal? Because some guys could be in it just to pick up the chicks. Some guys are here to impress mommy and daddy, or mommy and daddy buys them everything and they're not really into it. So we were really lucky to find 5 guys, or at the time the guys in the band, the 4 of us, with the heart to create.
Excellent.
Now things changed after that, but at least we had the goal and the drive, and we had a plan, and in life you have to have a plan.
Exactly. How did you get turned on to wrestling, and what is the most memorable match you've ever seen?
Wrestling, it was weird because I was born in New York, and I moved to Florida when I was about 10, and for a while I was living with my aunt while they were building our house, and they would always watch wrestling from Florida, and this was like 70s. It was really good wrestling back then. It was like old school, killer. Dusty Rhodes was a big influence on me because he was like the main guy here in Florida, and all the villains, and there was just so many real characters back then. It was just really awesome. So that was a big impact on me, wrestling, and I just started getting into it more and more and more. But then I really got involved with Kevin Sullivan, the Prince of Darkness, who I got to meet and hang out with. And that's really some of the best matches I've seen back then. Was with Kevin Sullivan, and then I got to be involved in them also.
Alright.
Wrestling's always been something that I always have liked. Nowadays I think it's a little bit just too corny and commercialized, but it's big business now, and they're still very professional. It's unbelievable what they're doing now.
Alright. That's awesome that you mentioned Sir Oliver Humperdinck, because I was going to ask you whatever happened to Locke, Luna, and Sir Oliver Humperdinck.
Locke and Luna, I managed them as the champions of the world, women's tag team champions for quite, I think, 2 years. We traveled all around actually we went all over the place, even Europe with them.
That's awesome.
And Humperdinck was always like a mentor behind them to me, along with Luna's father, who was Mad Dog Vachon, who's a big-time pro wrestler in Canada and a big time guy, very influential. But they're still wrestling here and there. Luna's actually married to the guy that was in the WWF, Gangrel.
Okay, alright.
And they work a lot of independent shows nowadays, and Humperdinck's down in the Keys right now.
Awesome. Who's your favorite wrestler? You said Dusty Rhodes was a big influence.
Well, what, back then? My favorite, the guy that put a big influence on me was, Dusty Rhodes, because he was such a real person, down-home guy, and for the people, a hero to many. He's always the good guy, and of course, you gotta have villains, you gotta have good guys, and when you're younger, you always like the good guys.
Alright.
And, hang on 1 second.
Alright.
You rolling?
Yep.
Yeah, so Dusty Rhodes was a big impact on me as a younger guy, and now that I've got more involved in the business and just, found out how hard it is to be a wrestler and to really excel at your trade, there's just so many guys that are so talented out there. But some of the ones that I've become friends with is like Rob Van Dam, who's a very good friend of mine. He's got a lot of talent. He's in the WWE. Chris Jericho, another guy, actually he's on the new Nasty Savage album singing Savage Desire. And there's just so many guys out there. I mean, to watch it any Monday night and see a lot of talent. It's a very, very hard job those guys have.
Exactly.
I mean, they actually put their bodies on the line, literally, sometimes 300 nights a year. So it's a lot. They're living in a lot of pain.
What do you normally get when you go into a convenience store?
When I go into a convenience store, I always like to get a cup of ice, and then either like some kind of tea. I really like that. What is it? That damn.
Like for me right now, my drink is a Sobe.
Yeah, they have so many different flavors and stuff. I've never really tried all the Sobe, but I like that tea. What they have 100 different ones of them. They have the RX.
Snapple? No.
Not Snapple.
That herbal tea?
Not herbal. It's They have the ginseng. They have all the different kind of Arizona. I think Arizona iced tea has some cool stuff. The bottles are cool, but there's certain ones that are really good. That's the ginseng.
Alright.
I have to drink that right before I go on stage because it really freaks me out.
Awesome.
No, not that. I'm usually water on stage. Also, like the Starbucks little can, the Jolt, whatever, the little can of Starbucks, man, will really get you going.
Awesome.
But other than that, in the convenience store, that's really about it. I rarely have anything to eat out of there. Maybe a candy bar once in a while, but it's usually just something brief, or maybe some rolling papers.
There you go. How old were you when you were first introduced to the world of porn, and has it worked your mind at all?
I think porn is very good for everybody, because people think, oh man, they're going to watch porn and they're going to run out and rape somebody. That's the furthest from the truth.
Exactly, porn, that's why I ask everyone.
Yeah, porn actually helps control that. It's a matter of life. It's part of life. It's part of natural being. But when I was infatuated with porn, as well as most people probably were. But I can remember. I remember when I was in, as a youngster, about 3rd grade, 4th grade, used to go to my friend's house, and when his parents were gone, we go right to his dad's Playboys. And then I remember we had a tree fort in Brandon, and where I used to live, when I still lived at home. My mom, of course, was like, I think we were 13, 12 years old, 11.